Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Today we are going to see the fourth story in the series of Chinna Katha. The title of the story is The Lord Has No Fixed Form. There was an artist who had travelled far and wide and had built up for himself an extensive reputation. But so far he had not achieved access to Krishna. As much as he was anxious to seek approbation from Lord Krishna as well. With his view, one day he got an appointment with Krishna, met him and requested him to stay still so that he could paint his picture. He prepared the outline and told Krishna that he would get ready the final painting in a week's time. Krishna knew the ego of this painter. After a week, the painter brought a finished portrait covered with a white cloth. In Krishna's presence, when he uncovered the painting, the painter himself was shocked at the lack of similarity between Krishna and the painting. The painter was completely surprised and asked for a week's time to get the job done. The painter tried several times, but every time the result was equally disappointing. In complete frustration and total dejection, he wanted to leave the city and go away. When he was going away, sage Narada met him. Narada told him that it was silly to attempt to paint the picture of Lord Krishna. The Lord has no fixed form and he can change his face every second. Narada advised, if you do want to paint him, I will tell you a method which will enable you to do so. Narada whispered something into the ear of the artist. Following the advice given by Narada, the painter came back with a white cloth covering something and again approached Krishna and told him that this time he is welcome to change in any manner, but the painting will look exactly like him. When the cloth was removed, Krishna saw only a mirror, and this mirror reproduced an exact replica of Krishna. If therefore you are imagining the God, you cannot describe God and your attempts will fail. Make your mind clear and clean and unbiased like a mirror. Fill it with love and devotion. That itself will enable you to have a true vision of God. The moral of the story is to have an unbiased mind and see things as they are. Let us see the inner significance of the story. We have to understand what is mind. Mind accumulates all the experiences, inferred thoughts, and testimonies. This includes cultural, religious, regional impressions in the mind. Memory is not pure. Recollection is also not pure. Whatever we experience, it is not with a pure mind, but always with a biased mind. These impressions formed in the mind helps us to recollect and take decisions quickly. When the mind has to take decision, it quickly applies the filter based on the impressions stored. We can use filters and take decisions quickly for the facts how our bias is formed. Bias is a systematic error in thinking that occurs when people are processing and interpreting information in the world around them, and that affects the decision they make. The human brain is powerful but subject to limitations. Biases are often formed and attempting to simplify information processing. There are 50 different types of biases. Let us see few of the bias in detail. For example, an anchoring bias. The first information you received influences your judgment of all that follows. Confirmation bias, you look for ways to justify your existing beliefs. A belief bias, if a conclusion supports your existing beliefs, you will rationalize anything that supports it. The groupthink, you let the social dynamics of a group situation override the best outcomes. Optimism bias, you overestimate the likelihood of positive outcome. Similarly, pessimistic bias, you overestimate the likelihood of negative outcomes. There are many other biases. For the details, you can see the link given in the description box below. How to purify your mind or develop an unbiased mind. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is a shloka saying, Vitarka Vicara Nanda Asmita Rupanughamat Sampragnataha, meaning to achieve the samadhi state, we have 4 types of purification possible. So let us see what is samadhi. Samadhi is a state of mental equilibrium where one's mind is active yet without any conflict. So let us see the 4 states of mind. Vitarka, Vicara, Ananda and Asmita. Vitarka is right logic, argumentative and analytical thinking. Vicara, right thinking, reflection, insight. Ananda is bliss. Asmita is the I am-ness, connecting to the higher self. What is Vitarka? Right logic. The brain should be free from bias to liberation. Being unbiased is having a neutral yet interested approach to life. With arguments, you should question or experience without any bias. Then take a decision. This decision should not come from the already existing impressions or memory. After Vitarka comes right thinking. What is thinking? Thinking is done through one's mind that may be conditioned with biases from society, religion, cultural, politics. This is Ananda or bliss. Absence of right logic creates inner conflicts which are energetically draining. Subconscious memories are still there and the impressions also exist, but conscious mind is free of all these impressions in the subconscious mind. Right logic will lead one to see a reflection of the truth. The ego that remains at this point is Asmita, true self. When the inner ego merges into cosmic ego and inner self is seen completely alienated from all external objects, then the mind is concentrated on the inner form. Asmithanugat Sampragnat Samadhi. By following the right logic, right thinking and bliss and merging our ego with the cosmic ego, we can attain mind which is unbiased and in a state of equilibrium that is called samadhi. Our Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba says, when sun shines on the different vessels with water, we can see the reflection of the sun in the water only when the water is pure and without any disturbance, though the vessels are made up of different materials. Here, the sun can be compared to divinity, the body is compared to the vessels, and mind as water. Similarly, when we keep our thoughts pure and unbiased, we can see the reflection of divinity in us. Today, we have seen the story, the Lord has the no fixed form, what is the biased mind, and what are the different types of biases, how to purify your mind and develop an unbiased mind with the 4 states. One is Vitarka, Vicara, Ananda, and Asmita, which is the union of ego. And our Bhagwan's example as well. In this story, Bhagwan Krishna has shown the painter to have a pure mind, unbiased mind, and fill in with devotion to see the God, the true self of the God. Hope you all enjoyed this story and its inner significance. Next week, we will see another story and enjoy its inner significance. Until then, Sai Ram.